Trinidad and Tobago, the Equal Opportunity Tribunal champions the rights of our nation's citizens, ensuring that all are treated with fairness, cultural sensitivity and respect, regardless of race, religion, sex, ethnicity, origin, disability, or marital status. This limb of the judiciary works to fairly and judiciously guard the rights of the people of our nation.
The Equal Opportunity Tribunal is a court, and that's a fundamental difference between the Equal Opportunity Tribunal and the Equal Opportunity Commission. In fact, the purpose of the Equal Opportunity Tribunal is similar to that of the industrial court. A person who has a complaint of discrimination or victimization or offensive language goes to the Equal Opportunity Commission and they lodge a complaint. This complaint must be done within 3 months of the event happening. The Equal Opportunity Commission, having received it, can investigate it to make sure it's a viable complaint, to make sure that you have any documentation that it's necessary to have before the commission so that parties are on an even playing field. And then they may attempt to conciliate it. Once they believe that that complaint can be settled by conciliation, and conciliation means the parties coming together, meeting with each other, and resolving it in a way that is satisfactory to them, not as a court making a decision. The Equal Opportunity Commission, like the Ministry of Labour, plays that role. Now, in the event that the complaint is not resolved, it has to be determined legally. So the complainant has the option to ask the commission to refer it to the tribunal, which is now the court, so that not having settled it, the industrial court, which the Equal Opportunity Tribunal is akin to, and I'm using the similarity and the comparison so that persons can understand it. The complaint is now brought to be determined by the Equal Opportunity Tribunal. And coming to the Equal Opportunity Tribunal is like coming to the High Court. Every citizen would be aware that they have certain constitutional rights. I mean, we have become a very litigious society. Everybody knows that they are guaranteed rights under the Constitution, protection from the law, equality of treatment, protection from discrimination. But what a lot of people don't understand, that under the Constitution, the rights that are guarded are rights between the state and the individual. The state and the individual. One big distinction, and extremely important and novel jurisdiction that we call it in legal terms, that the Equal Opportunity Tribunal has, is that it determines complaints between complainants and private individuals, or complainants and private companies. So let us say, for example, under the Constitution, you can bring an action that the state has discriminated against you. And we can look at any number of matters that would have gone before the state in recent times where people are complaining that for some reason or the other, the state has either discriminated against them or treated them unfavorably, or their rights were not adequately protected. But it's a matter against the state. The Equal Opportunity Tribunal is not a gender rights institution. Gender rights are very important and they have their place, and it's a growing place, and it's been increasingly recognized. We recently had, I think, the passage of domestic violence legislation, which is being dealt with by the police, I believe. But discrimination on the basis of sex is part of equal opportunity jurisprudence. So that the Equal Opportunity Act, and therefore the jurisdiction of the Equal Opportunity Tribunal, would cover things like discrimination on the basis of race, which is critical. And which is now much touted. Everybody is very interested in it. Everybody is discussing the antecedents of race. We have in Trinidad where we are having very interesting conversations arising about race relations in the country right now, and the question of whether or not there's discrimination, and if it is, how it exists between the many different ethnicities that we have. So where are we talking about discrimination on the basis of ethnicity, race, marital status, sex, origin, religion? Those are the types of areas of discrimination that the jurisdiction of the Equal Opportunity Tribunal lies over. And not just discrimination. We have victimization, and we also have offensive language. Victimization is totally novel. We have seen cases on racial discrimination. We get a lot of cases coming out of the workplace. I think there's an imbalance of cases coming out of the workplace. One of the things I would like to bring to the attention of the layperson is that the Equal Opportunity Act doesn't apply only in the workplace, because after all, the workplace is covered to a large extent by the Industrial Relations Act. It's not just the workplace that the Equal Opportunity Act covers. For example, the Equal Opportunity Act also covers education. It also covers accommodation. It also covers goods and services. There are always complaints coming from students who believe that they may have been marked down or they may have been treated unfairly by a lecturer because of perhaps race, which is now rampant, or because of sex, not necessarily sexual harassment, but because they were female, maybe in a discipline that is heavily male, that they may have been treated differently or they may have been treated unfairly or more harshly. These are all issues that fall within the Equal Opportunity Act and for which complaints can be brought to the Equal Opportunity Commission and litigated before the Equal Opportunity Tribunal. So it's not just work. We see a lot of work. We see 1 or 2 education. Right now we're also beginning to see some offensive language. And that also is very interesting because we have in the more recent past. And we have to be real and we have to recognize, we have to open our eyes. And the court or the tribunal cannot be blind to the society. We are on Facebook and we are on Instagram and we are on LinkedIn like everybody else. And we listen to the news and we hear and we see things. And there have been a lot of rants and tirades coming from people with a lot of racial overtones that some people are very upset and some people may be very disgusted and may have the propensity to incite a lot of racial hatred and animosity between the races. And these are matters, offensive behavior, even just songs, even images, are instances of offensive behavior once they are done publicly. That you can go to the commission, you make your complaint, you have the person who you are complaining against brought there to explain that comment that they made and to try to come to some resolution. Maybe it might be an apology, maybe it may be something else. And if there is no resolution, you can come to the tribunal. We have powers to bring people before the court, we have power to summon people, we have to produce documents, to bring people before us forcefully, we have powers of entry, tremendous powers reside in the court. And therefore, we have powers to commit people for contempt if they fail to appear, or to commit people to prison for contempt if they are disrespectful to the court or they fail to obey orders. It is the same powers of the High Court. You do have the power to grant injunctions. So that, for example, if it is that we find at the ending of the day that somebody was using offensive language and we want to ensure that they don't continue, we can grant an injunction restraining them from saying those things again. You know, that the court has, yes, the court is empowered to do that. I would want the lay people to know that the court exists, that the tribunal exists, that there is a remedy, that there is a way of dealing with some of the grievances that are being raised, that they do not have to sound so frustrated, they don't need to throw up their hands in the air. In a lot of instances, go make your complaint. It's free, there's no charge, you don't need a lawyer. When you go to the Equal Opportunities, you don't need a lawyer. You can go in and you can make your complaint as a lay person in lay language and have that complaint dealt with. And the whole process of conciliation doesn't require you to spend any money at all. You may have an attorney, or even when you get to the court, because we become more formalized when you come to the tribunal, you may find that you would want to be represented, because then we start talking about rules of the court and evidence and hearings and witnesses and cross-examinations, because we use all those processes because we work in the same manner as the High Court when you come to the tribunal.
In our modern society, our country's commitment to diversity and inclusivity is more relevant than ever. The Equal Opportunity Tribunal continues to strive to fulfill its mission to be a venerated, independent and robust court, advocating for justice for all peoples of Trinidad and Tobago.